Hi, this is Sam and this is my COMP3000 project. So why was I looking into this? For this project I was really inspired by the field of computer vision and machine learning, with object detection and recognition being an area that really interests me. I thought it would also be a good opportunity to build on a previous project I'd worked on and create a product that's slightly more advanced. I also found that previous modules in machine learning were very interesting. I thought this would be a good opportunity to use that knowledge I'd gained to create an application. I also thought it would be a good opportunity to learn a new language and gain experience creating a mobile application. There are quite a few employers looking for developers who have experience in Kotlin, which is an Android programming language. Problems are needed solving with software. There isn't really an easy way to electronically take lecture notes without buying a tablet. Notes are either in handwritten form or text, and not really in both. And although handwriting can be quicker than typing, some people do prefer typing, and the act of writing is what I consider part of the learning. So some of the constraints of my project. Writing a single letter usually takes about 1 second. With the maximum frame rate of the front-facing camera on the device I had available for this project was 30 frames a second, so I had around 33 milliseconds to process and render a frame before you started creating a backlog of frames and possibly never finishing processing the previous frame. There was also a constraint in responding to user input to make sure users feel that the response to their input is instantaneous. Processing user input events should take no more than 50 milliseconds. And even though a user might not notice a significant lag in the response time under 100 milliseconds, other work might be taking place when the event occurs, so an extra 50 milliseconds should be allowed so that other tasks can finish first. There's also a constraint with the resources available on a smart device. Even though the phone might be running at 1.7 GHz with 8 cores, idle processors are already using 30% of the CPU usage. So there really is a balance between the resources needed for this project to work and not blocking other processes on the device from working as well. So for my product, I wanted to create an application that allowed users to take notes by drawing characters in the air with a pen. I wanted to develop a mobile application because almost all students have a smartphone, and creating a mobile app would allow me to learn a new programming language. For my app, when someone installs an app on their phone, I believe a core principle of doing that is that they usually expect the app to do something offline. So for my product, I knew I would be challenged to do as much processing as possible on the device. I also wanted to include some machine learning in my application. In order to provide a different format for what the user had written, I thought using machine learning would be able to recognize the characters the user had drawn, and the user would be able to swap between what the AI thought they had written and their handwritten notes. So now moving on to the product demonstration. So here's the application up and running. One of the key features that I want to point out is this toolbar here that I'll move around. especially on small screens, mobile screens, having a separate drawer for all the controls takes up very valuable screen real estate. And I thought it would be a better idea to hide the controls in a small button that you can move around, which means that you still have access to the controls when you need them, but they're hidden away when you don't. I started the camera and I just tried to write the word box. I'm quite happy with the design here, with the way it's laid out. I like the fact that it's quite minimal. It's quite easy to see all drawings, and I also like the fact that I put the result from this machine learning server in the top left in a little red box, so it's not intrusive. It still allows you to see what you've drawn, but it allows you to read the result nicely. So I only implemented for proof of concept the letters O and X on the server, and I'm quite happy that the server is able to differentiate between the O and the X, and it does it pretty well every time.